Here's Bella. She's our 7-year-old chocolate lab. She goes on around 250 calls a year. She's at the point in her life to where she pretty much tells us immediately whether or not that deer is fatally wounded or not. We're thankful that they trusted in us to help, and we're off to the next one. Timmy Aller. I've got a twin brother named Jimmy. For the last 14 years, we've been doing everything we can to help hunters find their wounded deer. And basically we just sit around in all deer season and wait for the call. We get probably around 350, 400 calls a year. Obviously we can't do all that many and work a full-time job, but we do the best we can at helping the ones we can get to. Just like I said, this is our 14th season. Been blessed with some really good dogs. We typically run labs. Not to say that's the best breed, but it's worked real well for us. She's in there moaning now. She's tired, but
good girl.
If you've never used a tracking dog before, they've proved to be a huge asset in the hunting industry now. A lot of deer that wouldn't be found are found with these dogs. We don't so much need blood, and like I said, we're here to help. Every year we hear this call like, oh, it was 12:30 at night. We didn't want to wake you up, but this is what seasoned trackers do. I mean, the experienced trackers, we're waiting on the call, and we're more than happy to get out of bed, Thanksgiving dinner, whatever it takes to get you help. So what we typically do, we get the call, we'll get some brief information, where the shot placement was, the best, to your knowledge, shot placement was.
He was standing, I guess, right up in here, and he ran this way. And I found blood right over the little hill.
If the deer's hit towards the front, we tend to want to get on those deer as soon as possible. High shoulders with bows typically are tough for us to get, but if you give us, get on it real quick, we do have a chance to get it. The high backs, we call a no man's land. Those are lower percentage finds, but we can get on those too, but we can't get on them after a certain time has passed. So, and anything past your lung area in the gut, liver, a good tracker is going to tell you that he would rather wait 6 to 8 hours to track that deer. If you have one that tells you we'll come right now, then he's just wanting to get a jump on the guys that are actually going to try to do the best to recover your deer that's passed away. We always have the saying that we can spend 6 hours waiting or 6 hours running, and then once you get into that running, we cross property lines, interstates, get them in the rivers or whatever, and that's not a good scenario for the hunter nor the dog. So we want to track up on a dead deer if possible, but anything up front we want to get on, anything back we let lay.
Well, that was textbook on doing things right on a gut shot. We took 160 yards, non-pushed animal, hit in the backhand, come out low, right in between the backhands. Nothing lethal about it other than intestinal sickness on itself, but just done right. Went straight to it. She never turned her head left or right. She just straight line right to our target. Didn't you, Bella Bear?
Bella's actually signaled on here that she's on point, which in the tracking world, that means that she's come to the end of her trail. I don't want to get too excited, but that's a good sign is when the tracking dog stops after 400 yards of straight lining. So hopefully we get up there and she's got the deer dead in bed. If you call a tracker, he shows up and all he's got is a flashlight. And we've had instances where trackers have showed up with just a flashlight and a good sense of humor. Go ahead and send him back home, get on the list, get you a seasoned tracker. Your trackers should show up with, the right equipment, whether it be, flashlights. We've all got pretty good amount of money in our handhelds. I use the Garmin Alpha 100. There's several different kinds, but on that handheld, we can control the dogs, keep them toned off, or we can look at it immediately and tell whether or not Bella's on a good line, whether she's searching. If she's not smelling it very well, you'll see her. The line will be real sporadic. If she's on a good line to where we think we're fixing to recover the deer pretty quick, it'll just be a long one line, straight line going out, and at that point we can get in behind the dog and find it. When it says that she's treed or stopped, then 9 times out of 10 there's the deer's at the end of it.
She's at what is
got
that?
the
How many
deer.
yards?
131. You won the
She might
bet.
not have. She might not have. We're gonna let her sit there for a second, but that's a perfect line. So
I doubt she doesn't.
if she stays there, then we're gonna be golden. So, and you're gonna owe me $5.
Once you've contacted the tracker and he lets you know that he's on the way, we recommend to come out of the woods and leave the track alone. Let it, all the human scent that you've done, had all your buddies going around and doing, looking for the deer. We understand that you're going to look for your deer, but if I had to give any advice, if you're not sure of the shot, the grid search method isn't the most useful if you're going to have a dog. What happens is you step in the only blood that you've got there at the shot site, and now you've got 4 guys that are going to spread out, and now you've got 4 different blood trails, and it takes the dog a little bit of time to figure all that out. And we'll know it on the monitor. If a good dog, we'll know it on the monitor where you've stopped at and where you've gridded. But to better your chances on finding your deer, the least traffic on that track and the least disturbance is going to help you better your odds on getting your deer.
Yeah.
Oh, that's it?
Good girl, Bella. Good job, baby. Good job. I'm like, I thought it went through there. I'm like, oh, Bella, hang on.
All right, the biggest problem we as trackers run into is people not saying they're lying, but they almost get embarrassed by telling us the truth. So be honest with the tracker. Just like I said, swallow your pride. It's not a bad thing. You're doing a noble sportsman thing to call somebody in for help. It's not a you made a bad shot. Everybody makes a bad shot. We're there trying to make everything right. There's deer right there. Oh, screw that up. In the state of Georgia, the biggest problem we have is property lines. Obviously, the dogs can't read the no posted signs, so people call and go, oh, I say, you got, how much land you got? They go, oh man, we got 150 acres. Well, 150 acres, these labs, when they get to running the deer, they'll get off that in just a matter of no time. When you call us, a lot of times we'll have other calls. Do your part and try to contact as many property owners around. There may be 2 properties over that if you can contact them, it's better to get permission at 7, 8 o'clock at night than it is 2 o'clock in the morning. And then it'll better your chances of us being able to go in and retrieve your deer once the dog gets on it and now he's off your property. So that's just some good advice. Like I said, we started all this stuff 14 years ago, and we all bow hunted in my family. We was having the need to have a tracker come through, so I just assumed that I'd get me a dog started and do it on our own. And it's led to this, all over the state of Georgia, Alabama, South Carolina. We use labs. We've got an 8-year-old. She'll be 8 years old in February. She's our seasoned dog. That's our number 1 dog that we go to. But so we've got 2 or 3 puppies coming up, 2 of which are her babies. We got 1 out of Texas. If you're interested in doing it, you're gonna always have to have something coming up. The dogs get older, hips go out. I had Banks was my first one, like I said, 14 years ago. Started out just doing it on my own with a rope, and it's turned into this. She actually got killed by a buck. So we get a lot of the Buckarama shows and stuff. We get a lot of, everybody's got a dog. They put their little flu dogs out there. This can be real dangerous. That once that buck finds himself with nowhere else to run, he's going to choose you or the dog to run through and get out of harm's way. So keep that in mind as well. Like I said, we have lost a dog. I know that about every year in the tracking industry, there's several dogs that get killed by bucks. So if you're taking your kids out there tracking, or your house dog that don't know what he's running up on, there's a real good chance that you can get somebody hurt or the dog killed. So keep in mind that they're not the cute little deer that you started out in the back of the yard, and they're scared, they're mad, and they want to find a way out. So keep that in. We're the fellas that you don't like to see coming, but you're glad to know that we're on the way. We appreciate everybody always having trust in us. We know we take this very, very seriously. We know how much time and effort goes into hunting and what a passion it is, and we're trying our best to make your worst day better. So if you have trouble finding one, please give us a call. We're waiting on you to call, and if we can't help you, we'll get you in contact with somebody that is reputable and we trust, that'll show up and do you a good job. And above all, everybody just have a safe season and good luck.
Perfect.